Hello. Welcome to the weekly Top 10 news brought to you by Solarika, the world's first online community dedicated to solar energy. On December 4th, the U.S. Department of Energy's National Renewable Energy Laboratories based in Golden, Colorado and Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory based in Berkeley, California jointly released two reports looking at solar PV pricing in the United States. The first report looks at historical progress for PV price reductions, as well as providing future projections, finding that system prices are likely to continue to fall through 2012 and into 2013. The second report looks at the components of soft costs for PV systems. The second study benchmarks four particular categories of soft costs, looking at customer acquisition, permitting, inspection and interconnection, installation labor, and labor associated with arranging third-party financing. NREL and LBNL found that these costs alone comprise 23% of residential PV system prices, 17% of small commercial system prices and 5% of large commercial system prices. The Electricity Regulatory Commission in Jordan has announced the country's first feed-in tariff FIT program, awarding solar PV 120 fils or $0.17 and solar thermal 135 fils or $0.19 for systems not exceeding 500 megawatts. This is higher than FITs for all other renewables. The policy will also offer a domestic content allowance of 15% for installations of Jordanian origin. Households will be fitted with smart energy meters to monitor energy output by the end of next year, although a start date for the FIT is yet to be set. A CPV triple-junction compound solar cell developed and optimized by Sharp Corporation has been verified by Japan's National Institute of Advanced Industrial Science and Technology with a record conversion efficiency of 37.7%. Sharp used an indium-gallium arsenide combination as the bottom absorption layer while increasing the active area at the cell edges. The R&D program was supported by Japan's New Energy and Industrial Technology Development Organization. The device is targeted at CPV applications as well as space satellites and vehicles. Kuwait has set a target to generate 15% of its electricity demand from renewable energy including solar by 2030. According to media reports, the Emir of Kuwait, Sabah Al-Ahmad Al-Jaber Al-Sabah said at the United Nations climate talks in Doha this week that by 2015 Kuwait will meet 1% of its electricity demand from solar and wind energy. Kuwait relies heavily on oil for power generation, but according to the International Renewable Agency IRENA, the country has approximately 70 megawatts of installed renewable energy capacity. Of this capacity, PV accounts for 10 megawatts and concentrated solar power accounts for 50 megawatts. Kuwait is just one of several Middle Eastern countries that have recently turned towards renewable energy. Last month, Dubai set a target to generate at least 5% of its energy from renewables by 2030, whilst Saudi Arabia is aiming to have 54 gigawatts of installed renewable energy capacity by 2032. The Indian state of Tamil Nadu has announced the auction of 1 GW of solar capacity for 2013 in order to meet its target of 3 GW by 2015. Developers will be selected through a competitive bidding process where the lowest tender offered will win. The state government has said it will achieve its target through utility-scale projects, rooftop installations and a REC mechanism. However, in its tender specification report, the state proposes to also procure the energy generated from these plants through a long-term power purchase agreement up to a total capacity of 1 GW, valid for 20 years. Furthermore, the government has placed a minimum capacity for projects of 1 MW but has set no upper limit. Bidders will also need to provide proof of purchase of land to complete the development and will have 10 months within which to bring it online. The last date for the submission of bid is January 4, 2013. Under Phase 1 of the National Solar Mission, India's current installed capacity reached 1,050 megawatts by August 2012, just short of 50 megawatts of its 1,100 megawatts target. A draft version of Phase 2 of India's Jawaharlal Nehru National Solar Mission has been released, targeting 9 gigawatts of grid-connected solar by 2017. The schemes include bundling, which involves combining solar power with traditional sources of energy like coal, which can be sold to utilities at a cheaper rate than offered by solar power alone. There is also a generation-based incentive, which increases deployment of rooftop PV systems as well as small power plants. Project sizes under Phase 2 are expected to be in the range of 500 kilowatts to 2.5 megawatts. The majority of project allocations will be completed under the viability gap funding offered to private investors in the form of grants from the government. The scheme aims to ensure widespread access to infrastructure provided through a public-private partnership framework by subsidizing the capital cost to developers by 20% and thereby reducing the need for government involvement in solar projects. The world's largest single-unit solar power plant, located in Madinat Zayed, approximately 120 kilometers southwest of Abu Dhabi, UAE, is on track to be completed by the end of 2012. The plant, known as Shams 1, will officially start operations by the first quarter of 2013, according to an announcement by solar power giant Master. The plant broke ground in 2010, covers 2.5 square kilometers and is worth $600 million once completed. It will have a generation capacity of 100 megawatts, providing electricity to 20,000 homes in the region. There are many larger solar projects around the world, but they make use of an aggregation of multiple solar plants that are less than 100 megawatts in capacity. Shams 1 is the largest concentrated solar power project in the world. Shams 1 is a joint venture that is 60% owned by Master, 20% by Total and 20% by Abengoa. It will be followed by the construction of Shams 2 and 3, which will also generate around 100 megawatts of power each. On December 4th, Blue Oak Energy based in Davis, California announced that it has installed a 4.1 megawatt solar PV rooftop system in Arizona, the largest rooftop PV plant in the state. The PV system, installed at First Solar's facility in Mesa, is expected to begin operation by year-end. The system covers about 900,000 square feet, using nearly 55,000 thin-film PV solar modules manufactured by First Solar. It is secured with a proprietary ballasted mounting system, resulting in no penetration of the existing roof surface. China Development Bank is to support PV module manufacturer, JinkoSolar with a $1 billion, 5-year financing deal. The financing deal was said to support JinkoSolar to expand overseas, including PV project development and EPC activities, as well as support potential merger and acquisition strategies. The deal was struck between JinkoSolar Switzerland AG, its Swiss subsidiary, and the Guangdong branch of China Development Bank. The two parties said they intend to establish a meeting mechanism to evaluate the progress of major development projects to be carried out during the deal period. Increasingly, many PV manufacturers are adding project development arms to their business modules, as these offer higher margins than simply supplying modules for projects. However, a key challenge has been in obtaining project financing to carry out the strategy. According to the latest monthly report by the U.S. Federal Energy Regulatory Commission (FERC), the nation added 1.03 gigawatts of new solar PV capacity and 167 utility-scale PV plants in the first 10 months of 2012. FERC's October 2012 energy infrastructure update shows that this represented 6.8% of all new electricity generation capacity added during the 10-month period, with new wind adding another 36%. This represents a 71% increase over the 602 megawatts added in 200 new PV plants in the first 10 months of 2011. FERC puts total installed utility-scale PV capacity at 3.49 gigawatts, or 0.30% of total U.S. generation capacity. Actual output is a different figure, and it is worth noting that this figure does not include smaller PV plants such as residential installations.